Hi everyone, I'm Mare here at Sin City _cross stitcher. Whether you have been with me before or if you are a new viewer, I just want to say thank you so much for spending part of your day with me while I share my adventures in cross stitch. Today is Sunday, March 9th, and this is Flosstube number 19. So I've had a few new subscribers since my last video, thanks to the Homespun Needlework Facebook group. Julie had made a post asking if there were any Flosstubers and allowing us to name our channels. So I got a few new subscribers from that. And then I also attended the Pacific Stitching Retreat last weekend. And I handed out my little Las Vegas Sin City Cross Stitcher floss drops. So I got a few new subscribers from that as well. So I thought, because I do have a few new subscribers, that I would just do a quick reintroduction. My name is Marilyn. My friends and family call me Mare, spelled M-A-I-R. I live in Henderson, Nevada, which is southeast of Las Vegas. I typically just tell people that I'm from Las Vegas because not everybody, if you're not from around here, you really have never heard of Henderson before or can't picture where it is. So, but technically I am in Las Vegas because I am still in what's considered the Las Vegas Valley, and I'm only less than 10 miles from the Strip, or the Las Vegas Boulevard, where all of the resorts and casinos are. We have lived here for 15 years. I'm originally from New England, and we've spent some time living in Virginia, and we spent a little bit of time living in Texas, and we've been here in Nevada for 15 years. Originally, we moved out here for my husband's job. He was hired as a contractor, and it was only supposed to be for 3 years, but they ended up hiring him on permanently, so here we are 15 years later, and I'm still a bit in shock. Like, this was not planned. I never in a million years ever thought I'd be living in Las Vegas. I'm from the East Coast. And I really thought after 3 years we would be going back to Virginia because I really liked living in Virginia. But, you know, like, that's what happens. You just can't, it's hard to plan these things sometimes. So here we are 15 years later. I like it. There's a lot to do here. The winters, the weather is wonderful. The summers are miserable. Every summer I tell my husband we need to move because the summers are just awful. Especially this past summer. It was so hot. We have 2 sons. I've been married for, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to do the math now. Okay, 1996 we got married. So this year we'll be celebrating our 29th wedding anniversary. We have 2 sons. My oldest, Cameron, is 21, and he'll be 22 next month. He'll be graduating college with a degree in forestry. And he's home for spring break this week. He and my husband are huge hockey fans. They love the Vegas Golden Knights, so they're going to a hockey game tonight. My youngest is 19, and he graduated high school last year, and he's going to be graduating this year with his associate's degree. And then he's not quite sure what he wants to do after that. We have a cat, Lily, and I guess that's about it. I've been cross-stitching for over 30 years. I'm an accountant. I work from home. Yeah, I guess that's about the gist of it. So I do have quite a bit to share. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video. I typically start with previous fully finishes because I did just start my channel in May. So every video I've been sharing some of my previous fully finished objects. I have 4 to share today. This one is a Valentine one that I forgot to share in my last video. I've just found it in a drawer of seasonal fully finishes, and unfortunately I found it after Valentine's Day, so I was not able to put it out this year. But this is a freebie from the Scarlet House, I believe. I'm just trying to, my charm is all messed up, but I fully finished and stitched this one and fully finished it last year. I just made it into a pillow. Nothing fancy, but I really like this one. I love the colors. The blue and the pink combination I think is really pretty. It's just some rickrack and a little heart button. The next one that I have to share fully finished is the next 3 are St. Patrick's Day. So this one is from, it's a freebie from Blue Ribbon Designs. I don't remember the name of the pattern. It's on a 14 count Ada. It's a canvas. So I got these from Michael's. They come in a package of like 2 or 3 in a package. So the Ada is already stretched on the canvas, and you just stitch on it, and then I just put some felt on the back and some ribbon, and I think I just got a little glue happy right here. I'll probably put a button to cover up that glue. I don't even know, I don't remember if there was a button there before and it fell off, or it's just maybe I put too much glue on the ribbon. But anyway, that's that one. And then my next one is this Celtic knot. I think this was from that medieval book that I had shared with you last video or the video before. And I stitched it on this. If you have been around a while, if you've been stitching for a while, you probably recognize this fabric. It's very old. I don't remember who makes it, but it came in a little, it was all folded up into a square, came in a plastic package. And I used to find these a lot at thrift stores. I did stitch a pumpkin on one of these exact same type of fabric, but it was brown. The fabric was brown. But I think this style of fabric was meant to be made into a pillow, which is what I did here. And I just stuffed it with, I had a pillow form. It's not, I didn't put polyfill in it. I just used a pillow form, put it in there, and sewed it up. So it's very simple. I stitched this one several years ago. I used some sulky, a blended sulky, and I hadn't fully finished it for quite a while because there's a lot of blank space here, and I was thinking of maybe putting something else there, stitching something else there, but it had been years. It had been sitting in my drawer, so I finally was like, well, it's fine the way it is. I'm just gonna fully finish it, and so I'm happy with it. I think it looks pretty good. And then my last fully finish is this freebie from Helen D. She is East Coast Crafter on Instagram. So if you go to her link tree, if you go to her Instagram profile and then her link tree, she has a lot of these wordplay style patterns for free for all the holidays and seasons. I've done quite a few of them. This one is for obviously this one is for St. Patrick's Day. And this is on a 14 count Ada that I dyed myself, and just made it into a long skinny pillow. One of the good things about these patterns from Helen D is you can choose your own floss colors. I think a lot of her patterns, I think all the words might be in one color, but this is a good opportunity to just pick some floss from your stash and use up different ones. Just experiment with it. I think these might have been, I think, a Wicked Stepmother flosses maybe, but that's that. So those are all of my previous fully finishes. I do have one current fully finish. I shared this one as a WIP in my last video, and this is one thing that, if you're new here, one thing that I'm doing is what I call 5x5 in 2025. So I typically like to stitch 5 days in a row on a project because I can get a lot more progress that way, and usually 5 days is like the limit. I get tired of stitching on something after 5 days and I'm ready to move on. So I decided I was going to try, I try not to make too strict plans for myself because I have a tendency to not always stick to them, but so far so good. So I'm doing the 5x5 in 2025. So what it is I have 5 different categories, and it's the same 5 categories every single month, but I choose a different project for each category each month. And I am also doing WIPGO, so I do wait until the WIPGO numbers are called to see what projects are called, and then I try to fit those into my 5x5 in 2025. So one of those categories is to do a 3D finish every single month, because there's a lot of different 3D type finishes that I've never done before. So in January I did I stitched and fully finished a strawberry, and then in February I did a Biscornu. So I stitched and fully finished this one in in February. And I went to the Pacific Stitching Retreat, and my friend Carla said that she would show me and Sarah Stitching Mommy how to fully finish these, because neither one of us had ever finished a Biscornu before. So she had brought written directions for everybody. So it was just Sarah and I that actually stitched something, but she had a whole table full of people that were interested in learning how to put one together. So on Saturday, she got us all together and showed us how to put it together, and came together really easily. I think the most difficult part of doing it was just making the very first stitch. When you try to you have to put like a corner together with the middle of one of the sides of this other piece. So that was probably the most tricky part. But once you got them together and you started stitching them all, stitching it together, it was very easy. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So that is my one and only fully finished object this time around. I haven't had a whole lot of time to finish much of anything else, but I have a lot of WIPs and I have quite a few new starts. So let's see. Oh, and one thing I actually forgot to share with you, I realized after I filmed my last video, I forgot to share this project. This is Autumn is as Joyful by Lila Studios. So one of my 5x5 in 2025 is every month I need to stitch on one of my Lila Studios Quakers. I have two going. I have this one and I have Summer Quaker. So typically 1 month I'll work on this one, and then the next month I'll work on the summer one, and just kind of go back and forth, spend 5 days on each of them. So this one is what I did for January, but I forgot to share it in my last video. So this is where I'm at. So I mostly worked on the bottom corner down there where you see the L. I put the L in that Quaker, and I finished up all of those leaves and the apples, and I don't know if that's like, I think that's supposed to be an orange maybe. Yeah, and then I extended the border of the acorn down a little bit. So that's what I worked on in January, like the last 5 days of January. And this is being stitched on a light mushroom mocha, I believe. With it's a 20 count, and it's 1 strand over 1. Mushroom light mocha, 20 count. Yeah. So I started this one on January 1st of 2024. It was a Sal with Black Cat Stitchery. They were a needle workshop in Illinois, and what they had done was they took the chart and they broke it out into 12 different sections. So you were supposed to stitch 1 section a month with the I don't know, you were supposed to be done by December. So I did really well until October, and then I got heavy into the Halloween stitching, and I fell off. I don't think I stitched on it for the rest of the year. So now I'm just trying to, I want to make sure that I get this one done this year. And that LNS, they sold it, and I think it's moved to Wisconsin, maybe? I'm not sure, but okay, so that was January, and then in February I did film a video on February 16th, but after that video I worked on The Winter is Past, and this was on my 5x5 in 2025 to work on a WIP from 2024, and it was also a WIP go call. So I spent 6 days on this one. Here's the chart. I started this one in 2024. It might have been January or February. I don't remember. Actually, I might have the information in here. I always forget that I have these little cards in my in my bag to refer to. So I started it January 31st, 2024. It's being stitched on 28 count Sand Dollar Lugana by Bestitch Me. And it's got a lot of pretty blues. Very, very pretty color palette. Okay, yeah, let's see. This is where I am at on this one. So I had started this in 2024. I think I only spent about 5 days on it and then didn't bring it out again for the rest of the year. But this year I stitched probably about half of these flowers, and I finished the alphabet, this row of alphabet letters. I started where the K is. I did that whole row, and then the T, and I did this whole row right here of the border. So I got quite a bit done. I really, really love this project. It's a lot of fun to work on. I love the colors. And I'm stitching this 2/2. I'm using all of the DMC flosses, and I think there's one Weeks Dye Works capers, but the rest are all the Weeks Dye Work, the DMC conversion. So that fulfilled my WIP Go goal for February, or one of my WIP Go goals, and also my 5x5 to work on a 2024 WIP. And then so then I had a bunch of new starts. Hang on. Okay, so my first new start, and this was not planned at all. Okay, sorry. If you hear a lot of sniffling in the background, my son has a bit of a cold, so I apologize. So I have 4 new starts. Most of them were not planned. I just felt like having a new start. So the first one is Primrose Cottage, St. Patrick's Day Quaker. And the called for colors are Color and Cotton, but I'm using the DMC conversion. There are only 5 colors in this one. So this is I basically only worked on this for 1 day. I did pick it up again while I was waiting to pick my son up from school. I did like this right here. But when I picked it up that day, I realized that I messed up the colors. So where you see the light green is supposed to be the dark green, and where you see the dark green is supposed to be the light green. And this is actually supposed to be, can't really see it very well, but it's a clover inside that pot of gold. That's supposed to be the light green so that it pops more. Unfortunately, I stitched it with the dark green, so you can't see it very well. So I don't know if I'm going to rip everything out and restitch it properly. I know I'm definitely going to rip that one out because you can't see it. And I know that the Quaker, it looks really wonky, but I think it's just the way that my fabric is stretched in the hoop. Because everything matched up. All the borders matched up, so I think that it's stitched correctly. It's just stretched, and the fabric is stretched. And I don't recall what fabric this is. I think it is like maybe a Forbidden Fiber Co. 32 count something. I know I have it in my spreadsheet. I just don't have it written down yet. It's just in one of these bags because I don't have any St. Patrick's Day project bags. Then my next new starts was a Mill Hill kit. This is a button and beads Mill Hill kit called Winter Woodpecker. And I just worked on this for 1 day. My needle and my thread are still I haven't even finished them. They're still in there. So let's see. I think it goes like this. I did this. This is just 1 day of stitching, and it came with the blue perforated paper. So not a whole lot of progress. I only stitched on this for 1 day. But this is going to come out again in March as part of my 5x5 in 2025. So here are all the flosses. That's one thing with the Mill Hill kits is you have to separate all the colors by yourself. Like, it just comes in a wad, and then the only thing you really have to go by is it'll say light blue, dark blue, very light blue. They do give you the DMC numbers on the chart itself, but there's no numbers on the floss, so you kind of have to figure it out on your own. And so this, I think this I got from my friend Barb, but it's numbered. So then I just took the numbers and I put them next to the symbols for the colors, right here. And I do have this wad of floss left because I cannot figure out what colors they are. I think there's a light blue in there, maybe a gray, a white, maybe ecru. I don't know. There's like they're all so similar, and I'm having a really hard time deciphering what is what. I've tried putting it under like a lamp. I've tried looking at it outside. I've tried pulling the corresponding DMC colors and comparing them that way, but unfortunately I don't have the light blues, so I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll get there eventually. But that was my start number 2. And then start number 3 was a new start at the retreat. Sarah, Stitching Mommy, suggested that we all start this pattern. And so I bought the PDF and downloaded it. So that's why it's in black and white. But it's stitched on a blue fabric. And I found this Artiste 25 Lugana in my collection of fabrics. And this is where I have gotten. So I stitched on this like 1.5 days at the retreat. It doesn't look like much progress, but I actually had half of the church in and realized that it was over a couple spaces too far. So I had to rip it all out and restitch it. And then I don't have, like, this is I think it's 3371. And so I don't have that color right now, but anyway, this is as far as I've gotten. This is 2 over 2 on 25 count. And Sarah is stitching hers 1 over 1 on 25 count. So hers is going to be like half the size of this, but it's so cute. Go check out her last video on, it was Monday. She shared hers, and she has pictures. There's 4 of us that started this, and she has pictures of all 4 of us holding up our pieces together. We're all stitching it on different fabrics, and it's really cool to see, like, how everybody's are different. Everybody started in different places. These are the flosses for that. So this one is also going to be, I'm going to continue working on this one in March, as part of my 5x5 in 2025. One of my categories is spending 5 days on a new Christmas or Halloween start, because I have so many Halloween and Christmas charts that I really want to start. So I thought if I kind of planned it out that way, then I would be able to start some of them. But these 2, Snow Mini Friends and Woody Woodpecker, Winter Woodpecker. Jeez. I already started those in February, but I'm gonna, instead of starting something new in March, I'm just going to spend 3 days on one and 2 days on the other, as part of my 5x5 in March. But this is in a bag that I made myself, so both of those projects are in that bag. So that was start 3 and 4, and then, no, 2 and 3, and then my 4th start was a chart that we received in our it was a retreat exclusive that we received in our bag, and this is by Ink Circles, called Pacific Stitching 2025. We were also provided with the fabric and the floss to stitch this. And Valerie, who hosted the retreat, she's from Live and Dye LA, she dyed the fabric and the floss, and she said that whoever started and finished it during the retreat would be entered into a special drawing to win a $50 gift card to her shop. I didn't win, but that's okay. I still came home with some fabric, so I'll share that later. But I started this one at the retreat on Friday, and I think I finished it on Saturday. So the fabric I chose, well, everybody got the same fabric. It was called Sunset Over California, but I think you could choose whether you wanted 16 or 32 count. So I chose a 32 count Lugana, and here's my finish. And we're also given this little needle minder here. So it was quick stitch. PS is for Pacific Stitching, and then 25 for the year. So we got an eighth of this fabric, so I'll be able to, stitch something else on it. But it's very pretty. It's like a light blue with some pinks and oranges. Very pretty. Okay, so also on Friday of the retreat, I worked on my temperature Quaker. And if you watched my last video, I originally had started it on this fabric. And I realized after I had stitched January that it wasn't going to be wide enough, because it's this way. It wasn't going to be big enough to fit, because I have to fit February and March here, and it wasn't going to fit. So I switched my fabric, and I got a bigger piece. This is a 14 count DMC printed Ada, and so I restitched it. I restitched January, and then that's February. So our temperatures have been so in January, their temperatures were 50s and 60s mostly. We had a couple of days that were in the 40s, which I think is what this really light purple is. And then in February, our weather has been all over the place. We've had like a week of 50s and 60s, and then we had a fake summer, so we had some 70s, and we even had a day that got into the 80s, which I think is this one right here. I stitched that one in at the retreat, but I actually did not have that floss color with me, so one of my table mates, Kim, had that floss color, and she shared a string with me, one length of floss of that color with me. So that's really cool that I have some borrowed floss, or not borrowed, she's not going to get it back, but some shared floss in my cross stitch piece. And then yeah, so then we had another week of like 50s and 60s, and then we had another fake spring where we had temperatures in the 70s again. And so it's been all over the place in February, but it's cool to see all the different colors coming out. We haven't gotten to the reds yet, but I know they're coming soon. So this is a really fun stitch. So today's March 9th. I have to catch up on starting the March Quaker. So that's from Stitching Mommy. That's the temperature Quaker from Stitching Mommy. So she has an Etsy shop, and she has all different kinds of temperature patterns. She does one a year. She releases one a year. I did her temperature butterflies a couple years ago. She also has temperature turtles, temperature tree. This year is a specialty stitches. My friend Carla is stitching that one, and I think Karen Stitching Owl is also stitching that one. And she has other things besides temperature charts, so definitely go check out her Etsy shop. I'll try to link it below. I try to link everything below, but if I missed something, just comment, or you can email me. I do have an email. It's sincity_crossstitcher. I don't check it every day though, so it could be up to a week before I get back to you. But if you have any questions, just comment below, or you can email me, and I'm happy to, if I forgot to share something, if I forgot to link something, if I forgot maybe some information as far as fabric or designer or whatever, just feel free to ask me, and I'm happy to answer. So the next one that I worked on is Topsy Turvy Tea. This is by Counting Puddles. And I only stitched on this for like 1 hour during one of my lunch breaks. I typically just stitch on this one outside because it is on a 30 count linen called Grape Ice, I believe. And the fabric is very loose, so I am struggling a little bit. I have to go very, very slow, and I need really good lighting to try and get my stitches to look decent. But I think I just put in some more white, like I connected the teacup handle, and I think I put in all of that white there. So this one is I'm going to continue on with this one into March. It's let's see, the 5x5 in 2025. This is, I think this is going to be like a so one of my categories is pre 2024 WIP, and I started this one in 2023. So I'll probably work a couple of days on this one for that category. Typically I work like 5 days on one, so I don't know if I will do the full 5 days on this one or split it with something else. I don't know, I probably will do the full 5 days because I do need to, I really want to get this one done. But I'm stitching it with the called for Treenway silks. And that one is being held in my, this is a bag from Allison of Mrs. AZ Family Zoo. She has an Etsy, AZ Family Zoo, where she has a ton of project bags. I don't think she has this particular one because I bought this one over a year ago, but she has a lot of similar ones. So definitely go check her out if you're in the market for a new project bag. All of the proceeds that she makes from her Etsy shop goes to help support feed and vet bills for the animals at their animal sanctuary that they have in Arizona. Then my next one, this was unplanned. So here I'm just going to share, we're into March now, so I'm going to share my March planner. It's just stickered up with butterflies. On March 4th, I follow Sheldon Stitches on Instagram, and he also has a Flosstube. He's from Canada, and March 4th was his birthday, and he was going to start this chart. And I said, well, I have that as a WIP, so I will pull it out and stitch on it in honor of your birthday. So I did spend one night stitching on this one. This is one of my older WIPs. I started this one in 2022, I believe, and really haven't stitched much on it. I think because it's on a linen, and it was one of my first adventures into linen, and it's a really, really old one. This is a Belfast linen in summer khaki, a 32 count. I don't know how old exactly this is, but you can tell by the packaging that it's pretty old. So I think in the beginning I was really struggling with this fabric because it's not something that I'm used to stitching on. So I didn't pull it out very often. But this last time that I pulled it out, I actually really enjoyed it and wanted to keep going, but I have so many other planned stitching that I needed to get done. So I only worked on it for one day and then I had to put it away. But I stitched, I think I was just below these windows. So I filled in a whole bunch more of the house. I did the first floor windows and the door. And that's what I put in on March 4th. So I still have a lot to go. I mean, I have the rest of this side of the building. I have more of this over here, and like everything down here, like all of the flowers, the stars. So I still have a lot more to go. But I am hoping that this one will come out again soon. I will probably end up putting it, on my 5x5 for a month coming up. Okay, so then in March, one of my 5x5s is Summer Quaker. So this was part of my 5x5 in February, but I only managed to stitch on it for a day or two in February because I had all of those unplanned starts. So I'm continuing on with this one in March, and I already did spend 5 days on it. So that is the Summer Quaker. I started this one on my birthday in 2023. So I love this one. I actually love all of her Quakers. Have you seen the new one? Oh my gosh. So pretty. It's like piece something, and like the middle is round, so you could even just stitch the middle. It's so pretty. But I since I'm doing the full Quakers of the summer and the autumn, I probably will do the entire thing of that one. But that's probably my top needlework market choice pick. That's probably my favorite one. I didn't do any pre-orders. I usually don't do pre-orders. I think because I'm just so impatient. Because if you pre-order things that from multiple designers, sometimes your entire order is held up because they're still waiting on patterns from a particular designer. And I've known people that have had to wait like 6 weeks or something. And I don't know, once I order something, I'm really impatient to receive it. Whereas if I don't order it, then I tend to be a little more patient. Like, oh, I'll just pick it up when I can. So I know that Jessica from Silver State Stitch Shop, which is my local needle workshop, she went to market. So I'm waiting to see what she brings back. I really want to support her first because she is local to me, and I want her shop to continue to survive, and because I really enjoy going there and being able to stitch with stitchy friends, and because it's so close to me, I just want to support her as much as possible. So I'm going to wait and see what she comes back with and purchase from her, and then I can, whatever she doesn't have, I can purchase elsewhere later on. But I'm in no hurry. I have plenty of things to stitch on, and I do want to finish at least one of these Quakers before I start another one. But have any of you pre-ordered anything? Let me know in the comments what if you've made a pre-order, and what is your like top favorite picks for market this year. I really love that Quaker, and oh, Hands-On Design, their ladybug is really cute. Robin Pickens has a really pretty one. I think it's like the ones with like the dandelions. It reminds me of being a kid and picking the dandelions with the well, they're not the yellow dandelions, but they're white, and then you blow it and they all, scatter everywhere. We did those a lot when I was a kid, but I don't know what they're called. Maybe they are a form of the dandelion. I'm not sure. And then the chickens, is it disco chicks or something? I don't know. From Satsuma Street, those are really cute. I have a whole list of things that I like, but I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. But anyway, enough chatter. Here is the Summer Quaker. So I'm actually a lot further along on the Autumn is a Joyful Quaker than I am in this one. And I started this one in August of 2023, and I started the Autumn one in January of 2024. But because there was a stitch along and they were breaking it out month by month, that really helped me to, stitch a lot more on it. But I do love this one also. It just reminds me, I used to live in Cape Cod, so it reminds me a lot of the beach in Cape Cod, the crab, and there's a lighthouse, and there's a boat, and I don't know. So what I worked on this time was I did put in this Quaker, the heart, this line, and everything down here below that line. And I also extended this border a little bit. And this is being stitched on a 20 count Live and Die LA Malt of the Earth 20 count 1/1. This is the first Live and Die LA fabric that I ever purchased and ever stitched on. I purchased this 2 years ago at the Stitch Nanigans retreat in Las Vegas. these are all the flosses for that one. Kind of a mess, but whoops. Yeah, they're a real mess. And then this one is being held in one of my Patchwork and Poppies bags. I love her bags. They're so pretty, so well made. Okay, and then the last one, I only worked on this one. So this one is my 5x5 in 2025 for March, the 3D stitch. I plan on finishing the hen and fully finishing it in March. So I started this one last year. It was a stitch along that Allison of Mrs. AZ Family Zoo had started, called Funky Chicken Sal. She has already finished her hen and fully finished it, and she has a tutorial on how to fully finish it if you're interested in learning how to do that. It's Mrs. AZ Family Zoo she's on Instagram and on Flosstube. So I still am working on the first one. I'm still stitching that hen. But I did put in, last night I filled all of this in, and I think I did put this in and started down here. So there's a bunch of words in the middle here. It says, guess what, chicken butt? Those are the words, and that's going to end up being the bottom of the chicken, and then this is going to repeat on the other side. So then you kind of like fold it in half and you end up with a full chicken. So I have 4 more days to stitch on this one. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to finish. I don't know. I didn't really get a whole lot done last night. I mean, I just filled this in and this, which really isn't a lot for one night of stitching, but I've started binge watching. I finished Downton Abbey. I finished all 6 seasons of that. I need to go and watch the movies now, but I started watching All Creatures Great and Small on PBS. My cousin had recommended it because it's another like period historical type show, which I really like. So I've been binge watching that. And when I watch stuff like that, I tend to be looking at the TV more often than I'm stitching. Whereas if I'm watching Flosstube, I stitch more. You don't have to look up at the TV as much, but so I didn't get a lot done last night. But this is in my chicken bag that I made. I love this bag, so cute. Okay, so that is all of my stitching. So I think I did quite a bit these last few weeks. So for plans, my 5x5, the Lila Studio Quaker is summer Quaker, so I already fulfilled that. And I'm going to spend 4 more days on the chicken for the 3D finish, and the chickens were also a WIP Go call in March. And then the other WIP Go call is Wildflowers by the Blue Flower. I started this one last year in April. I absolutely love this pattern. The picture doesn't do it justice. So this is as far as I got last spring. So I'm going to work 5 days on this in March and see how far I can get. I'm not going to finish it, but I'd need to spend more than 5 days on it. This is being stitched on a 20 count Mushroom Light Mocha Ada. I'm stitching it 1/1 with all of the called for flosses, which are DMC. Yeah, it's all DMC called for. I typically stitch in DMC. I don't have a huge overdyed collection, so if the called for is overdyed, I will use what I have as far as overdyed goes. Otherwise, I just a lot of times they'll come with a DMC conversion, and that's what I use most of the time, is the DMC conversion. And this is in my I think this is a dot goose. Yeah, it's got like sunflowers on the inside. It's dot goose bag. So that will also fulfill my 5x5 in 2025, my 2024 WIP. And then I'm going to have a new start for the first day of spring, and that is going to be Spring Folk by Hands On Design. So I've already stitched the winter one right here, and I want to, this is so cute, I want to work on the spring. I'm going to start it on the first day of spring. I already have it all kitted up. I'm going to stitch it on the same fabric that I stitched that one on, which is a 32 count Lugana Bestitch Me, Not Another sampler. So I have enough fabric left, probably to get at least 2 more of those folk on here. And I do eventually want to stitch all of them. And these are all the flosses. All DMC. So I will start that on March 21st. So if anybody wants to start with me, let me know. This is in a bag that I made with butterflies. I love this bag. I got this fabric from Joann's. I'm so sad that they're going out of business. Mine was one of the ones that was supposed to stay, but now they're all going now. So I'm gonna have to stock up on some more fabric. So that is it for all of my stitching that I've been up to lately, and my plans. I'm just going to share some stitchy kindness and some haul from the retreat. So actually, before I get to that, on Monday, back in February, on Monday 24th, I met up with one of my viewers, and she's also a Flosstuber, Heather. She's the Mirror Image Stitcher. She's from Alberta, Canada, and she has a Flosstube channel. She started her channel right around the same time that I did. She is only I think she only has 3 or 4 videos out right now, but I will link her below if you want to go check her out. She was going to be in the area for 2 weeks. She and her husband come down here every year for an archery tournament, and she contacted me and said, hey, you want to meet up at Stitcher's Paradise? So I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we met at Stitcher's Paradise, and we were able to sit in the front. They have a table in the front, and we were able to sit and stitch and chat and shop, and we went to lunch. But she brought me a bunch of goodies, one of which was this cute little finishing board. And she also brought me a Canadian mug, which has already been in use and in my cupboard, and a water bottle, which I brought to the retreat with me. And she brought some Smarties, which are Canadian Smarties. They're not the same as US Smarties. They are like candy coated chocolate, a lot like M&Ms. So she brought some of those, and some spices. So that was really nice of her to do that, and it was so nice to get to meet her and hang out and chat. And we did some shopping. I purchased this pattern from the Cricut collection. I thought those were so cute, and I have a metal Hirschner's tree that I like to decorate every holiday. I don't have anything, well, I guess I have some eggs that I hang on it, but I don't have anything stitchy related that I can hang on it, so I thought that these would be really cute. And then this one really appealed to me. It's an older Little House Needleworks pattern, but the bear and the trees and the snow, it just really appealed to me, so I picked that one up. And then I picked up a couple pieces of fabric. They have some bins of fabric, smaller cuts, and I keep hearing about Picture This Plus. I don't know that I've ever stitched on it. I may have stitched on some Picture This Plus Ada at one time, but I wanted to try their Lugana. So they have, this one is a 28 count Dawn, and I also tend to have a stitch on a lot of neutrals, so I wanted to pick up some colors. So this one is really pretty. They didn't have a whole lot of Lugana, like scraps or small pieces to choose from, so I just got that one. And then they had a 28 count linen in Ancient. So grab that one. It has a really, really cool modeling on it. So just grab those two. So that was it for my Stitcher's Paradise haul. And I did get the St. Patrick's Day Quaker Primrose Cottage pattern from them as well. And I also got my fabric of the month from Bestitch Me. This is Oat. It's a 20 count Aida. And I have just changed my subscription. One thing about Bestitch Me is you have an account online and you can easily change your subscription at any time. So I am going to start getting a 32 count Lugana again. And I may pause my subscription just because I have a lot of fabric right now. So I might pause it for a while. I hate to do that because I love Bestitch Me's fabric, but I really, my drawers are getting pretty full. So I kind of, need to use what I have. I went to Silver State Stitch Shop a couple weeks ago for UFO Club, and Jessica had Summer Folk, which was the last one that I needed in the series, so I picked that one up. And then at the retreat, I did buy some fabric from Valerie, and on the last day of the retreat, she was having a 20% off sale. So I grabbed this. It's 28 count Lugana in Aspen Lugana Opal. So I've never stitched on any of her Opal fabrics before. One of my table mates had a very similar color that he was stitching on, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So when I saw this in her 20% off box, I was like, I need to grab that and try it out. It's just so pretty. And I also grabbed, because I don't have a lot of dark color fabrics, again, I have a lot of neutrals, so I grabbed this one called Midnight Sky. This one is also a 28 count Lugana. It's very pretty. And I also grabbed another 28 count Lugana, and this one is called Zombie. And I just got fat quarters, is that what they're called? Just a quarter of a yard. This is like a gray with some purple, like lavender modeling. My lighting, it's always an issue. Especially on the lighter fabrics, not going to come through very well. And then the last one I got is a 20 count Aida in the color Heathers, and it's a lavender. So it's not coming out quite. I guess that's close. But I don't think I have any lavender fabric, so I grabbed that one. Be good for some spring stitching. And then the only other thing that I purchased at the retreat, they had quite a few vendors there. Jennifer was selling t-shirts, which I already had one of her t-shirts from Stitchinanigans, so I didn't grab another one this year. 805 Stitcher was there selling some of her bags. Somebody else was there selling their bags. And then Debbie Broussard was there. She makes needle minders, but I already have so many needle minders. And actually, here's Debbie's card. She's Disco Babe Designs. She's actually very, very local to me. She's in the same town and lives near where my son goes to school. And I did buy 2 of these, what are these called? Cabochons, I think. So this one is just a Christmas tree, a pink Christmas tree, and then this little bling on there. And I got this one, Trick or Treat. So those will be good for when I kit up some projects. Can put my floss drops on those. And that was it for my purchases. And then they had a freebie table there. I didn't get to the freebie table until probably, let's see, the retreat started on Thursday at noon. I don't think I got to the freebie table until Friday or Saturday. So a lot of it had been picked over. There really wasn't a whole lot left. But I did get this. If you had watched one of my videos back in December where I did a lot of Christmas FFOs, I had shared a dangler that I had stitched. It was Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and they had a sign that said Merry Christmas, and then it had both sets of feet dangling at the bottom. So I didn't realize that that was like a series, that there were more of them. But I stitched that in like the early 2000s, and this one, the date is actually 2000. So this, I think this is, it must have been like a series of charts, but it's like the whole kit. So I was really, really happy to find this. And then, let's see, I picked this up, and I was really surprised to find this on the table as late in the retreat. You know, I think it was like Saturday or Friday, because I think somebody must have picked it up and then decided they didn't want it and put it back. But this is the Village of Hawkrun Hollow. I've never stitched a Hawkrun Hollow, and I don't own any Hawkrun Hollow, so I was really excited to find this one. And then the only other thing that I picked up from the freebie table were some magazines. There's a Stony Creek, and here, this is a 2018 Christmas December issue. Didn't start getting that magazine until 2020. So I really like getting some of these older magazines because they're really fun to flip through. Like, say you don't feel like stitching, you can, but you want to do something that's stitchy related. These are always fun to just pull out and look through them. And you know, I've my tastes, I know a lot, this happens with a lot of people, my tastes have changed. So I feel like every time I look through a magazine, I see something different that I didn't notice before. So I'm just happy to pick those up and look through those sometime. So then here, now is I'm going to move on to Stitchy Kindness. So at the retreat, everybody was given one of these bags. So this came in really handy to carry stuff from my room down to the Stitchy room, because I had brought like a rolling bag with all of my stuff in it, but I didn't necessarily need all of my projects every single day. And so I would go back to my room, fill up my bag with what I was going to stitch that day, and just carry this, and that worked out so nicely. And then so we got that pattern that I shared earlier, the Pacific stitching pattern with the floss and the fabric and the needle minder. And then we also got this pattern. This is by Ink Circle, St. David's Dragon, and this one actually just came out at Needlework Marketplace this past weekend, but we, as retreat attendees, got it a week early, and I think it's just so pretty. I love this pattern. Sarah Stitching Mommy she started and finished it at the retreat. She stitched the flowers and the dragon. She didn't stitch these, but just this dragon and those flowers. So go check out her video if you'd like to see a finish of this. It's really cute. And then now I'm going to move on to table gifts and other gifts that retreat attendees passed out. So at my retreat, at my table, there's 8 people per table. My table only had 7. One of the people at my table is my friend Carla. She is the one that I traveled with. She flew to Vegas on Wednesday and stayed the night, and then we drove out to California on Thursday together. And she gave everybody these bags. And inside, she gave everybody this chart by Hands On Design called Autumn Calls. It's so pretty. And she gave everybody all of the floss that you need to stitch it. So that was so nice. And then she also gave us these Singer scissors, which I've never used before, but she said they're really, really nice scissors. So I look forward to opening those and trying those out. So that was from Carla. And then another table mate was Taryn, and he gave everybody these cute little needle minders. Everybody got a different colored flower. And McKenna from 1884 Stitchery was another one of my table mates, and she brought charts for everybody at the retreat. She had a lot of these extra Brenda Keys charts, and let everybody, it wasn't just this chart, she had a lot of different ones, and let everybody choose what they wanted. So this is the one that I chose. It's called House on the Hill Sampler. And then my table mate Casey gave everybody these cute little, I don't know the official name of them, but it's from It's So Emma, and you can stick your scissors or your highlighter or whatever. You just put this at your stitchy spot and you stick everything in there. It holds them really well, and it's all right there. And then some C's candies. So that was really nice. And that was it for my table gifts. And then I just got a few things from some other retreat attendees that they handed out. This was actually on the freebie table. I guess there were a bunch of them, so one of my table mates grabbed some and handed them out to us at the table. It's funny because I actually made these for my table mates. It was part of my gift. I had given little bags also, and I made a bunch of these are Ort containers. So you just snap them together, and you just set it next to your table, and you put all your Orts in there. So very, very handy. I always use these now when I go to a retreat or when I go to a stitching day. I always use these. Those are very handy. Pam Bowers, she's at Cassie's Beach on Instagram. She gave everybody one of these cute little needle minders. It's iridescent flower. It's so pretty. And then I'm not sure who handed these out, but somebody handed out this invisible highlighter. Oh my gosh, not an invisible highlighter, erasable highlighter. And these Jolly Rancher candies. And then I handed out, I had my floss tags from leftover from when I went to Stitch New England. I had all of these floss tags with little charms, different Vegas style charms. And I handed these out when I was at Stitch New England in October, and I had a bunch left over. So I handed these out to everybody. Unfortunately, as I was handing them out, I realized that I totally forgot to punch the hole down at the bottom to put your floss in. I felt so bad. But people, they said, oh, we have punches at home. It's not a big deal. So I just felt so bad. And so as I was handing that out, somebody gave me some of their goodies. Debbie Sisk, she's Glitter Dove Fairy on Instagram. She handed out these floss drops. They're like playing cards. And it's so cool. I love the heart-shaped punch. And then the punch on the side for your extra little bits of floss. And then she also put in some charms. There's some 2024 charms. There's a key, and I think that might be a teacup charm. So that was really, really nice. And then Jane Evans, she's Mama Doll Wanted on Instagram. Mama Doll, I'm not sure what that, WATRND. Bad Girls Have More Fun. It's a sticker and a little nail file. So. Oh, and then somebody else handed out some highlighter tape, which I've never had any of this, never used any of it, but it actually came in really handy at the retreat when I was doing my Snow Many Friends. After I made that goof up, that came in really handy to help me keep my place. I think that's it. I think that's everything. Okay, I think that's everything. I hope it's everything. It's an hour and 4 minutes, so that's not bad. I was hoping to keep it at an hour. I had a lot of things to share, so I thought it would probably go over a little bit. So not bad. And this is actually my second time filming this video because I did forget to share some things on the first time I recorded it. So Um, just a brief comment on the retreat. It was a wonderful retreat, Pacific Stitching Retreat. It was in Anaheim, California, held at the Embassy Suites, hosted by Live and Die LA, Valerie Parker. And it was her first retreat that she hosted, and she plans on doing it again next year at the same hotel. It was a wonderful hotel. If you've ever seen any of the needlework market videos, it's the same hotel where you have all of the rooms around, and then you look down into the courtyard and like the where you eat. They have free breakfast every morning. The rooms were wonderful. It was like you had a separate bedroom and a separate living area, which was really really nice. Although I didn't spend much time in the room. Whenever I was always in the stitching room, it was open from like 8 to 10, so the majority of my time was spent in the stitching room. And then they had happy hour, so you got like a little certificate where you could get like a free drink and a free snack every evening, which was really really nice. Um, and everything was just so close. You didn't have to walk far at all. Parking was super close. I did have to pay parking. It was like $25 a night, but most of the retreat attendees were able to get free parking, but I booked it through my employer because I work for Hilton. So um, I was able, I had to pay because I didn't book it through the retreat. I booked it on my own. I had to pay parking. Although if I had probably, in hindsight, if I had said I'm with the retreat, I probably could have gotten the free parking. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Um, the room was really nice. Again, the everything was so close. I mean, you just hop in the elevator, go down. The eating room was right there, and then the stitching room was right down the hall. The bathroom was right there, so everything was super close. It was really well lit, and it was just a super fun retreat. I would definitely. She's gonna host it again next year, so I'm really hoping that I'm able to attend again next year. And she is going to host other retreats or the other events throughout the year. So if you want to follow her, Live and Die LA on Facebook, and you can um, be informed of upcoming events and things. Um, there were quite a few Flosstubers at the retreat. I got to meet Kim, the Contented Needleworker, which was really exciting. I really enjoy her videos, and she's so sweet. So she sat and chat with me for a little while, which I really appreciated. And let's see who else was there. Sarah Stitching Mommy, of course. I got to spend some time with her. We both, Carla showed us how to stitch the Biscornus. Sandy, Stitching with Sandy was there. Um, Dottie, Stitching Scotty, who I had never watched before, but I got to meet her and chat with her, and she was really, really nice. Um, Rachel, she's Pacific Coast Stitcher, I believe, on Flosstube. She's a fairly new Flosstuber, and she's also from the Las Vegas area, so that was super cool. She was there. Um, who else? Oh, Key X Stitch, Shelly Key X Stitch. I think I think that's her name on Instagram, but I think she has another name for her Flosstube. I've actually never watched her before, but I'm looking forward to checking out her channel. And there's several others that I had never heard of before, but someone at the retreat. So Valerie had asked all of the Flosstubers there to get up and introduce themselves. I didn't because I'm shy, and I did not want to stand up. I don't like standing up in front of crowds of people. It's ridiculous, I know, because I'm here talking to all of you, but it's different when it's live and you can see the people looking at you. I know, I'm ridiculous, but so I didn't get up and introduce myself, but somebody made a whole list in the Facebook group of all of the Flosstubers that were there. So I will copy and paste that list in my description box if you want to go check out all of those Flosstubers and see if they have more of a retreat recap a retreat recap if you're interested in learning more about it. And I know like Sarah has pictures that she included in her video. She's the only one that I know of so far that has recorded a recap. I still need to go and subscribe to a lot of those that I have never subscribed to before. So I don't know if anybody else has done a recap yet. Unfortunately, about 25% of the attendees at the retreat ended up coming down with COVID. Um, and how I have not gotten it is beyond me, because I spent a whole lot of time with one of the people that got sick, and I I mean, I have not gotten sick yet, knock on wood. I know there is a 14-day incubation period, so I'm not going to feel 100% in the clear until next Sunday, and that will have been 14 days since I was at the retreat. But so far, I have avoided it. But there's quite a few people that ended up getting COVID, and so I don't know when people are gonna, when people are gonna be putting out retreat recap videos, but I will put all of that information down below. So I guess that's it for today. I will be back in a couple of weeks. 2 or 3 weeks is typically when I record. It just depends on what I have going on that weekend and how much stitching and how much I think that I have to share. If I have enough to share, after 2 weeks, I'll be back in 2 weeks. If not, it'll probably be like 3 weeks. Comment below what you have pre-ordered at markets, or what your top picks are. If you didn't pre-order, what do you look forward to receiving or purchasing and stitching? So you can comment below, and then also let me know if you have any questions. You can comment below. If you're not comfortable commenting on the video, you can email me at sincitycrossstitcher@gmail.com, and I will put that in the description box also. And I guess that's it. Just thank you so much for spending some time with me. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, please consider liking and subscribing to my video. That would help me out tremendously. And I will talk to you all in a couple of weeks. Thanks. Bye.